I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots, but my home was never on the ground. I've got no roots. I've got no roots.
Our story begins in a little town named Bethlehem. David's father is taking food and water to his son David so that he may deliver that food and water to his brothers who are in war. At this time, the Israelites were fighting the Philistines, who had a giant named Goliath. David took up the supplies and made his way over to the battlefield. While taking the supplies to his brothers, David heard Goliath mocking and making fun of his God. The shield-bearer of Goliath stood up and said, "Choose one of your men, and if any of them can fight and beat the giant Goliath, then we shall become your servants." David said to them, "Is no one going to challenge this giant that defies the name of God? If no one will, I will." His brothers started making fun of him and told him to go back home. Even with all the mocking and getting made fun of, David still believed that he could beat this giant. So then he went to King Saul to formally ask for permission to be able to fight against this great giant. King Saul stood up and asked why he thought he could beat this giant. And David replied, "Because I have God on my side." So then King Saul gave David his armor to use in battle. First, his sword, then his helmet. And then finally, his armor. All these heavy items were too much for David. He fell to the ground, as he could not support the weight of this armor. So then, David tore off the armor of Saul, and then he told him, "I only need 5 rocks to be able to beat this giant." The giant stands ominously over the battlefield, looking for a challenger. When he sees David, he laughs and mocks him. David had knocked down the giant. So then he took the sword of Goliath, took one big swing, and cut the head off the giant.
It's okay to fish, 'cause they don't have any feelings.
If you have any giants in your life, just remember that with the help of God, you can knock them all down and cut off their head.
Something in the way, yeah.
Bro, want to this? Like this.
Hola chicos, bienvenidos a una... ¿Cómo?
Hola chicos, sean bienvenidos a una nueva aventura más. Parado.
Y le pega la cámara. Contar tu experiencia, vos.
Y como que le voy a pegar un palazo y tu bico un quillo y lo pones ahí. Y le dicen que se siente que vas a morir.